Hello guys, I'm very much excited to come your way with another content. Let me start off by saying a very big thank you to all of you for helping me reach a little over 100 subscribers. I'm so much grateful, and this is just the beginning of an incredible and an amazing journey. If you are new to this channel, I would recommend that you hit on the subscribe button so that anytime I upload any video, you'll be the first person to be notified. Well, without wasting much time, let's get right into it. So guys, today I am actually going to share my personal experience with you guys. God has been very good to me. And I've always told myself that anytime I get the platform or anytime I get the opportunity, I'm going to put out this incredible thing that God has done for me out there to encourage others who find themselves in such a situation. So let me take you guys back. I think somewhere around 2000 and I think 2000 and if my memory serves me right, I think somewhere around 2000 and 2007, 2008 thereabout. My parents actually had a rough challenge, or let me say they had a little problem with their marriage. So unfortunately they all had to go their separate ways, and then fast forward, I ended up staying together with my elder sister alone in a community called, I think, Sukura. Yes. So for those of you who are actually from Ghana and who stay around Dansoman thereabout, you should know Sukura. So Sukura is actually a Muslim community. So that is where I grew up. And then, staying there alone with my elder sister, it wasn't easy, because for you to actually be staying together with your elder sister, and then you guys have to take care of each other. Your parents, my parents were not in the picture and all that. It was really a challenge for us, and I must say that was really a tough time. Very, 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 very tough for me and my sister. And then, so as a result of this breakup, divorce, by my mother and my father, my education was a little rough, because staying alone with your elder sister, and then my sister is a little older than me. I think she's just about 3 years older than me, and so she didn't really have so much of control over me. So I had the opportunity to do whatever I wanted to do without anyone restricting me. So I wasn't really going to school that much, because there's no one to check you and make sure that you're actually in class. So yep. So that's how it happened. That's how it started. So I had to just come out of school, and then life was really tough. Life was really tough. I came out of school, and I always saw my friends going to school, and then in fact, at a point I thought my life had come to an end, because there was no one to check on me to actually be going to school. And before I forget, I was actually intelligent. I was really intelligent, but as a result of my association with some friends, I came out of school. I dropped out of school because that's also a long story, which I'm going to talk about later in my video. So you should subscribe, so that whenever I post that story, you won't miss out on it. Yep. So I literally had to stay home, and I saw my friends going to school and all that. Anytime I see them, that African thing that you see your friends progressing, and then you tend to hide from them, because you don't want them to see your current state or your current condition. So, yep. So living with my sister alone in Sukra was actually a challenge for me. It was really difficult for us. I wasn't going to school. There was no one to check, to put me in check, to be sure that I was actually doing what I had to do as a student. So I was just at home. I was just at home, It got to a point. I actually discussed with my sister that I want to actually learn a trade, because if I'm actually not going to school, why should I just stay at home without doing something productive in my life? So I was actually, because there was no one to check up on me, I was just all over the place, moving from game center to one game center to another. Just I was just all over the place. I wasn't doing anything productive with my life. I was just all over the place. So it was at a point that I don't know what happened, because I dropped out of school. My mom had to take me to my hometown, my village. I actually come from Kumasi, so I went to spend some time in Kumasi. I actually schooled there. The reason why my mom took me back to Kumasi was that I was actually, should I say, I was shy, because my friends were a year ahead of me. We were actually supposed to, I'm sure we were supposed to be writing BEC together, but because of the friends I associated myself with and all that, I had to drop out from school. So when I dropped out from school, they were actually a step ahead of me. And I can't stay in the same community, see my friends actually progressing, going to write BEC, and then I'll actually be there. It's kind of felt um, embarrassing for me, and I felt very shy. So I talked to my mom and asked her to actually take me to my hometown so that I can actually go there and go and pursue my education there, because there no one knew me. So I just go and start all over again from there. But when I got there, when I got there, because I had stayed in Accra all my life, living there was actually a big challenge for me. It was really a big challenge for me, because I had to change my water, the kind of food I was eating and all that. So I usually fell sick. If my memory serves me right, I think about I always visited the hospital, I think twice in a week or so, when I went back to my hometown to actually further my education. So it was at a point that my mom called me back and told me that, George, I had a bad dream that something bad had happened to you, so I want you to come back to Accra. So I just packed my stuff. I spent just 2 months there, in the village. So when my mom called that she had a bad dream, I had to just come back to Accra and further my education there. So when I came back to Accra, I told myself that regardless, I know it's my own mistake that has made me that has brought me a step behind. So I just have to pick myself up and continue from where I actually ended it. So I actually encouraged myself that regardless, even though my friends are ahead of me, they should just go. I would also, catch up with them. So I came back, and then I went back to Form 2. That is, those who are from Ghana will understand what I'm trying to say. So I had to go back to Form 2. I went to register at a government school, and then, I was in the system, and then I continued with the education, even though my parents were still not there. But I tried my best. I wasn't punctual. I go today, I won't go tomorrow. I go today, I won't go tomorrow, and all that. So fast forward, I wrote BEC, and when the results were released, I went to check my results, and to my surprise, I didn't really make the best grade. I actually had 23. If my memory serves me right, yes, I think I had 23. And I told my dad about it. I told my mom about it, and they were very disappointed in me that because they were expecting so much from me. Don't forget I had mentioned that I was really intelligent. It was just that I associated myself, with some friends, and then I dropped out from school eventually because I wasn't going to school. I followed them to game center and all that. So yes, so it really affected my performance. And then I came out with, I think, aggregate 23 after the BEC results were released. So my father was really disappointed in me that I couldn't actually make the best, grades. But I made a promise to him. I made a promise to him that he shouldn't worry. I know I haven't been the best child, but I was actually going to do better. That was a promise I made to him. I told him I was really going to do better. So fast forward, schools were released, and then I had an admission to this school, Kwehu Tafu Senior High. It's actually in the eastern region. So those who are from Kwehu, they would understand, or they know the school I'm referring to, Kwehu Tafu Senior High School in the eastern region. So I went there because of the promise I made to my father. I really worked very hard when I went back to senior high school, when I started senior high school. I made a promise to my dad that I was actually going to do better because my BEC results wasn't the best. So I had to, give him the assurance that as I go to the senior high school, I'm going to perform massively. So fast forward, I went to senior high school, and by the grace of God and through hard work, I ended up topping my class from first year through to final year. But before final year, when I got to second year, I actually wanted to test myself before I actually took the WASI examination. So for those who are from Ghana, you know that when you get to third year, you have to actually take the West African WASI. Let me not, miss out on the acronym. So I had to take the examination in third year, but I decided to test myself first to check how prepared I was before the actual exams in third year. So I discussed them with my parents, and they were like, okay, it's actually a good idea. So, just give it a try. Let's see how it goes. So I registered, and I remember when we were on vacation, all my friends were home, and then I was on campus studying very hard, very, 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 very hard. I remember myself with two other friends. Yes, I think we were three. We actually discussed it and decided to take the NOVDEC examination before the actual WASI, so that we test our abilities to see if we are really preparing enough for it. By the grace of God, we prepared the day that the exams date was due. We wrote the exams, and by the grace of God, I did so well. I think I made up 3 A's, 3 B's, 1 C, and a D. So I was so excited. In fact, the day that my teacher checked my results for me, I was so excited. So I called my father and told my father that, this and this is what had happened. And by the grace of God, I was so excited, and they were also very excited for me that I had actually, passed the NOVDEC examination. So fast forward, I wrote the main WASI exam, and by the grace of God, I also passed that one as well. I did better, during the WASI because I had given it a try in my second year. Yeah, so now after completing, now it was time for me to further my education. Don't forget that I made a promise to my father that I am actually going to make him proud because I didn't start on a good note. So I made a promise, a vow to him that I was going to improve, I was going to do better. Yes, so I applied to some schools. I applied for Legon, those in Ghana, University of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and I also applied to GIJ, Ghana Institute of Journalism, because I wasn't actually sure of what I wanted to do. So I wanted to test the waters and see which would help for me. But hey, before that, I remember back in senior high school, because I was really studying very hard, and I've always been someone who likes to um, teach other people. So my course mates from senior high school would actually attest to this when they see this video. I really like to help people. So anytime, um, and I was also a class prefect as well back in senior high school. So anytime our teacher wasn't coming, I just stand in front of the class, and then I teach my colleagues. Probably some of them had uh, difficulty understanding some of the things we had studied in the previous weeks and all that. So I just asked them what they actually need clarification on and all that, and then I help them with it. So that was what I was doing way back in um, senior high school. I did that, for I think I did that in first year, second year, and third year. I did that. I was doing that. I was helping with maths. I was helping with English as well, but I was really helping with maths. And before I also forget, I was actually part of the first three people who actually graduated with the best grades from my school. Yes, my school in Kotafu Senior High. So yes, so I had actually fulfilled the promise I made to my father. So after I completed, I was like, I didn't really know what I really wanted to do, but I knew I had that passion, for teaching, because I was teaching my colleagues and all that back in senior high school. So I just didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. I wasn't so sure teaching. I wasn't so sure the teaching will help. So I didn't really purchase any teacher training forms. I just got University of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and GIG. So I applied to all these schools, and then for Legon, the course I wanted, they did not give it to me. So I just had to, discard that as an option. For GIJ too, I had admission, but before that came, I had, gotten an admission in KNUST to actually read English. So I just thought that, well, since I loved teaching in senior high school, why don't I just give this a try? Maybe God has a plan or a purpose or a reason for giving me English at KNUST. So I just did away with GIJ as well, and then I focused on my English admission from KNUST. So fast forward, I bought all that I have to buy and all that, and then I started. So in fact, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. Even though English is something I have always loved, because way back in senior high school, anytime I got the opportunity to have an interaction or a conversation with my friends, I tried as much as possible to be blending my local language, which is the Akan language, with the English. So anytime, I end up having a conversation with my friends will be like, George, do you like speaking English too much? We are speaking, Chi, Akan, and you are also speaking English. Not knowing, it was actually preparing me for something I didn't know. And then fast forward, as I started this English program at KNUST, by the grace of God, it was going so well for me, even though it was very difficult at a point. But I persevered. I went through it, and it wasn't easy. Let me use this opportunity to say a big shout out to my course mates, and especially my study group. We actually formed this study group when we were in first year, and we kept this group through till final year. We were meeting for group discussions, midnight, all night group discussions and all that for examinations and all that. So they really helped me. They really helped me a lot. And then even with the teaching stuff that I was telling you about back in senior high school, the same thing also resurfaced or happened at KNUST, because I ended up helping other students as well with the course, because by the grace of God, I had a grip on the course. I understood so many concepts and all that in the course. So I was actually assisting some of my colleagues and all that with the course. It got to a point that I even stood in front of the whole class, and I taught them some courses as well. I remember I taught them advanced syntax. And I was really doing well in that course back in in my university days. I was really doing so well with advanced syntax. So I was teaching them advanced syntax and all that. Yep. So you see the connection, teaching right from senior high school through to the university level. I was still teaching. I was still helping them. So yes. So we went through the 4 years journey. First year it wasn't easy. I didn't start with first class though. In first year, I think after they released our first year first semester results, I think my CWA was somewhere around 67 or so. And in KNUST, for you to get first class, you have to get accumulated weighted average of I think 70 to 100. So I started with second class upper. I started with 67. Second semester, I increased a bit. I moved to I think 68.5 or so. And then second year first semester, boom, first class 70.61. So I actually had first class when I got to second year first semester. That was when I had first class. So I still had my first class for second year second semester. I also had my first class for third year first semester. But third year second semester, when we were actually moving to final year, that was when I dropped. That was when I dropped. I dropped by I think some points. I dropped back to 69.9, I think 69.96. I dropped back. I didn't know what was happening because I was giving it my best shot and all that. But English. The more you study, the difficult, the more you go in terms of the levels, the difficult the courses become. So yes, when I got to third year, moving to final year, I dropped to 69 points. I think 69.76. So I just gave up because I just had final year to increase back to first class, and that was almost it looked almost impossible because the course was also getting difficult by level. So I went to final year first semester. I had to do 5 courses. I tried my best. I did all that I could. When the results were released, I had 2 A's, 3 B's, but I did not increase. What was happening? What's happening? Because I knew a friend who had 3 A's, 2 B's, but she increased by I think even by 1 point. But I just needed some few decimals to move back to first class, and it wasn't happening. After getting 2 A's, 3 B's, it wasn't happening. So I gave up. Honestly, I gave up. So my study group told me that, George, you shouldn't give up. You can actually do this. They were actually encouraging me not to give up because how is that even possible to increase? I just had one last semester to prove myself that I can actually graduate with first class. Fast forward, we went to 4th year final semester. For this very semester, I really pushed hard. For this semester too, I had 5 courses, that I was supposed to do, and my dissertation as well. So I did my best. I learned very hard. I kept pushing very hard. I pushed very hard and all that. At the end of the day, the results were released, and I had the same, scores I had for first semester. I had 2 A's and 3 B's. But what really helped me and pushed me to first class was my dissertation, my project work. It was my project work that pushed me because I had 75, which is an A. That was what really helped me to move to first class. Had it not been my project work, I'm not sure I would have graduated with first class. So yes, I did it. From a school dropout, from dropping out from school, going to the village, coming back to the city, starting all over again, coming out to 23 for my BECA examination, promising my father that I'm actually going to do better. Went back to senior high school, topped my class throughout my 3-year journey, wrote NOVDEC in second year and passed well. And Finally, I graduated with first class in English from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So someone would ask that, George, why are you sharing this with us? What do you want us to learn from this? The whole point, or the only thing I want you to learn from this, is that whatever condition, whatever situation, wherever you find yourself, I want you to believe in yourself that you can actually, or things will get better. I want you to believe in yourself that things will get better. Because at a point, I gave up. I gave up because, I thought my life had come to an end. Because all my friends were ahead of me, and then look at me. I had to stay at home, moving from one game center to another, and all that, just moving around all over the place without doing anything productive in my life. But by the grace of God, in fact, I always tell people that I would never take credit, or I would never take the glory for where I have gotten now. Wherever I am now, I actually give all the thanks and all the glory to God, because had it not been for the Lord, I'm not sure I would have gotten here. Because it's really incredible. How can you? It's incredible and surprising. How can you drop out from school and end up graduating with first class? It only takes the grace of God and a little hard work. So yes, the point is, whatever you find yourself, going through, don't just give up. Don't just give up. Don't give up at all. Don't give up. Don't give up. I know some of you may find yourself in a situation like mine, but just keep on moving forward and keep hoping and praying, because I know that with God on your side, everything will be possible. Thank you so much for listening to me up to this point. I know and believe that you've been inspired, and I know and hope, and it's my prayer that whatever you're going through, the good God that we serve would come through for you, and all things will turn out for your good. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. But make sure you like this video and you leave a comment for me. Thank you very much. I'll see you in my next video. Peace. Bye bye.